here. The podcast hasn't actually started. I'll have so that way you can. There it is. Alright, you can hear. Take like a half a minute and then we'll start the podcast.
Your audio is working, sir?
Yeah, well, audio's working fine. I hate it when it does that. I hate when it just cuts like that. Oh my god. Why does it do that? That's so weird. I don't get it, but I don't know. I think I'll start it. How long has it been going? Okay, just almost a minute. Okay, I think it's going now. Alright, let's start. Hello everybody, this is NCS07 here, and welcome back to another episode of the NCS and Lambocast. I'm your host, NCS07, and I'm joined by the other host. Introduce yourself.
Nerf Master Lamborghini Lamborghini.
So, this is the third time we're trying to record this, because the first time my audio didn't go through, and we just tried re-recording it, and internet went out during it, so that's just beautiful. So, I swear to God. So let's just get going with this, and let's just get going. So, you started off.
Alright, so just so everyone knows here,
We're talking about YouTube this time.
Now, but just so you guys know, you stole my thunder. It's in such a rush. So, first person we're going to talk about today is Jake Paul, or just the Paul brothers in general. So, we already know what the stupid shit that they've done, but it's the fact that they're still around after the stupid shit that really gets me annoyed. So,
especially
we had Logan Paul with the whole, Akokigahara Suicide Forest incident where he filmed a dead body on camera. We had we had Jake Paul not only getting his house participating in looting and rioting during the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I believe that was in Arizona, was it? I believe it was in Arizona.
Oh.
Not June. I believe it was in Arizona. Actually, it might have been in June. I'm not sure. No. But I believe they have it in Arizona. And, like, YouTube allows people on their platform that have committed looting and rioting. They allow people on there that have shown actual dead bodies on camera, people that have committed suicide, and I don't even think he age restricted it. I don't even think he age restricted the video.
YouTube might have age restricted it, but I don't know. I don't even know.
How about Jake himself? Not Jake.
Well, no, he probably didn't.
I don't think he age restricted. Like,
but yeah, how are they still here, honestly?
No idea.
Kind of weird
how
how
YouTube has some favoritism.
Yeah, they. What the hell?
Get ready for an all-new episode of the Live Extreme series, available now. Wasn't so long
okay, apparently I did some new follower status, apparently. But anyways,
okay.
I don't know what that was all about. Apparently it gave me. Apparently I got to icon level in Crew 2, so that's lit. But yeah, it's kind of weird that YouTube will let Jake Paul and like they'll let him on YouTube, but they'll take down Monkey Jones, which is a perfect segue into the next topic, and that being Monkey Jones. Oh my God, let me back in the game! I have no idea what's going on, but essentially Monkey Jones. Now, if you don't know, I actually don't really know. I had never watched any of his videos, but I do know that he did have he made like kind of like mocking kind of videos where you would kind of mock people, I believe. Possibly not, but I'm not sure. But I think at one point he made a video mocking Eric Harris, who was the guy who one of the two guys that shut up Columbine. And I don't know if that was actually the video that did it, but then YouTube just out of nowhere just gives him multiple strikes for like seemingly no real reason. Like, I don't know what actually happened. I think we might have gotten some answer, but I don't think it was a very... It was, of course, the typical vague answer. Like, they don't really tell you what actually went wrong. And, like, Monkey Jones said that he would have taken down the videos that could have been deemed as offensive. But nope, YouTube just flat out removes him from YouTube. Even his other channels, because I know, because he started, like, going on other channels, and that didn't work very well. So, that happened. So YouTube definitely does have a lot of favoritism, and that's kind of what makes YouTube very perplexing, which then leads into what you're going to talk about, which is where we left off before.
So YouTube will take the time to take down Monkey Jones, who honestly sounds a lot like a YouTuber that I know called Lieutenant Lickney, but that's another story for another day. But so they'll take the time to take down that kind of channel, but they won't take down Peluchin Entertainment. Peluchin Entertainment is a YouTuber that actually filmed himself beating his cat to death. The cat's name was Jason, and it was very young. Before the cat finally lost its life. And despite the horrific circumstances of the cat's death, and the fact that everything was completely uncensored on video, YouTube did nothing about it. This was possibly due to the very strict child protection laws in Chile, where this YouTuber is from. But YouTube, you are a fucking amazing on the platform, at least in your eyes. YouTube should have called the police or have done something other than just removing the video, because that's all they did. They didn't call the police. They didn't terminate his account. They didn't do anything. The only thing they really did was just take down the video in question. Yeah. And for those who wonder, the video itself can still be found on LiveLeak. And I have had the displeasure of watching it, and trust me, it is just as bad as it sounds.
Don't watch it if you're an animal lover.
I already have.
Well, that's just beautiful. Way to be a good role model on this podcast. But yeah, that's pretty messed up, and we talked about this like before, but I'll keep it brief here. Honestly, like, I have a much bigger problem with him abusing his cat. Like, if he abused another human, it probably wouldn't piss me off that much compared to him abusing his cat, because humans can, like, they can fight back. Like, cats, like, the one he was probably beating, I haven't seen the video. It was probably a house cat. Those can't fight back. Mm-hmm. Like, they can't fight back. Like, they have claws. I guess they can bite, but what are they gonna do against a goddamn buzzsaw? I don't know if he actually uses that. Don't tell me. But
the only thing he used, like, in terms of weapons, was just a wooden spoon. That was about it.
That reminds me a lot of another YouTube video where, and this isn't actually a bad video. It's actually really funny. This video where the slowest death ever, where this guy is just constantly hit with a spoon until he dies.
It's not very funny, but okay.
It's actually really funny because it's completely played as a joke, and it's not even intended to be realistic. It's clearly a joke. It's like a skit. It's funny. Hilarious YouTube video that I saw. But the Chilean YouTuber who made that video, yeah, that was pretty messed up, because at least humans can fight back, but animals usually can't, at least in these situations. So great job, YouTube. Great job. You won't let someone mocking Eric Harris on YouTube, but you will let someone who abuses their cat in very gruesome ways. So I guess YouTube likes school shooters, apparently, and animal abusers, apparently. That's what YouTube likes, based on that. which I'm sad to even be saying that. But 2021, am I right?
Yeah, but now, let's move on to what you have to say.
You mean like the next topic?
Yes.
Okay. So this is actually something that I did not bring up in my original video. So this is now I don't. Some of you might not have watched it. The Problems with Spaghetti. One of the things that Spaghetti did was he basically pulled a suicide stunt, and it was clear that it was fake. I had a big problem with this. Now, he did learn from it, and I don't hold any real grudge against Spaghetti now, but the reason I bring that up is because a similar situation happened with someone else. And now, just to be clarify, this wasn't actually a suicide stunt, but it was a very similar type of practice to gain sympathy. And this person is Introspective. Now, if you don't know who Introspective is, he's basically this guy who makes Smash Brothers videos. He does other videos on other Nintendo games and Among Us. Ugh. But a while ago, I'll be honest, I wasn't really tuning into his content that much until he made a video in January, basically talking about how he was going to take a big break from YouTube. And I'm talking this is going to be a 5 or 6 month break, because he had been dealing with issues of depression, and he felt that he didn't really know what was important to him, and he felt like he was bringing everyone else down with him. So he was going to take a break from YouTube to not only better himself, but also kind of find himself as well. And it's kind of typical, a lot of people do that sometimes, and it's understandable, completely understandable. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
And not even just that, it also will make your content better if you are able to find yourself and actually improve. So it was going to be 5 or 6 months. A month later, Nintendo reveals their next Nintendo Direct, which was the first time that they had one happen in a while. And inevitably, there was going to be a Smash Brothers character reveal. So he goes back on Twitter and makes a tweet saying "Oh man, looks like I'm back to work." Now at first this doesn't seem like that big of a deal, because it makes sense. Of course you're going to want to make you're a Smash tuber. Of course you're going to want to make a video on the new character, even a few videos. It's completely understandable. But I was reading through the comments of that tweet, and apparently and people were like, "Hey man, don't push yourself. You are going through depression." And then he makes these sends these replies where he basically says, "Ah, don't worry, I'm completely fine now." So this dude, it could go two ways. Basically, one, this was actually legit, genuine, or this could have been a borderline scam and just a way for him to gain sympathy. You don't say you're gonna take 5 months off, but then show up a month later to fully go back.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. Honestly, whether it's actually a stunt or not is anyone's guess.
Well, I actually know. I'm certain it's a stunt, and I'll get to that in a second, but it just seems really weird and kind of effed up, if you ask me, because, again, people suffer from depression and stuff like that, and that stuff is hard to get out of. Of course, it varies depending on the person, but, it could have varied with him, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Personally, I don't believe that. But him just saying, "Oh, I'll take 5 months off," and then, 1 month off, 1 month off in actuality, that, it rubbed me the wrong way, and it's it came off to me as he was basically doing it as a setup to gain sympathy. And the reason why I feel, and I don't feel like he was actually suffering from any actual depression or did any improvement at all. And this is the reason why. This is the reason that this is basically my trump card. You cannot deny the fact that this was staged. The fact that he went fully back on Twitter. Now, for people who do not use Twitter, Twitter is one of the most negative places in the world. People are constantly arguing on there. People are constantly miserable on there. And for him to fully go back to using Twitter, that tells me that this was definitely just a stunt for sympathy. You can't deny that. Like, you don't, like, if you're actually trying to improve your, like, depression or whatever, or your well-being, you don't go back to using Twitter. That's not how it works. And I mean, I know people have varying, like, uses of Twitter. Like, some people do get enjoyment out of Twitter, but honestly, Twitter is really not something that and many others are proud of. I don't know if I'll ever make that video. I'm just waiting for the day that I eventually delete my account and just move on, but I don't know. I usually just follow artists on there who make pretty artwork of cute characters, but, like, other stuff is just negative, so yeah, that had to have been a scam. Now, but just for a second, to play the devil's advocate for just a second, let's say that it actually was real. Let's say it wasn't staged at all, it was real. He actually was suffering from depression, but he decided to just come back to YouTube because of him supposedly feeling better. Well, this is what it tells me, that he does not have a lot of care for himself, because legitimately, like, if you're gonna come back to fully doing YouTube, you're just gonna send, like, the main problem was YouTube itself. Like, YouTube was basically getting in the way of the rest of his life, which is why he kind of felt like it was kind of destroying the other parts of his life. But then, like, he just comes back to keep doing YouTube. It tells me that he doesn't really care that much about himself if he's just gonna let himself fall right back to where he was before. And so yeah, so yes, he may not necessarily care about himself. So that brings the new question. If he doesn't care about himself, then why should others care about him?
Good question.
And this is a thing that can be very good advice. Always have some care for yourself, because think about this, if you don't care about yourself, then how the hell are other people going to care about you? So keep that in mind for future reference. So yeah, I just unsubscribed from him, and I don't know which one it was, honestly. To be blunt, it was probably just a sympathy stunt, because he went fully back on Twitter. Though to be fair, he could just be being stupid. But I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on what actually happened, but yeah, it did happen nonetheless. So yeah. Okay, so, now you go over someone.
Should I just go for it?
Sure, go for it, I guess.
Okay. Next person I actually want to talk about is just the CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki herself.
Okay,
so,
let's go. Or as I call her, Susan Wabbajack.
So does Diesel Pactus. Diesel Pactus also calls her that.
He's also, just side comment, he's a really good YouTuber. Check him out. Even though I haven't watched his videos in a while, actually, I actually watched some of his older videos just like a week ago. But I haven't really watched a lot of his newer videos. But he's a really good commentary YouTuber. But back to Susan Wabbajack.
So Susan Wabbajack, or Susan Wojcicki, is the CEO of YouTube. And what's really sad about that is the fact that almost everybody on YouTube that actually have some kind of fan base have more subscribers than she does on her own platform.
They have a lot more likes, too, on their videos.
Yeah. But also, just Susan Wojcicki has been destroying the platform ever since she took Roll.
When did she take Roll?
No idea. But all I know is that she's been pretty much destroying the platform ever since she's actually taken Roll of YouTube. The rules of YouTube have become so strict, it's just straight up ridiculous at this point. And the worst part about this is the way that she was hired. She was hired because she let her friend use her garage. And her friend decided that she would be a great CEO for YouTube because she has the amazing heart to let them use her garage.
Okay, I looked it up.
Look at how that went.
Okay, I looked it up. Apparently, it was 2014. That was around the time that I feel YouTube was starting to was like on the downfall.
Well, you wonder why. I mean, honestly, that's the year that she took Roll. and immediately just sent the platform to shit. We had the whole scandal where YouTube was found to be collecting information on children, which led to the whole COPPA scandal. And the worst part about the whole COPPA scandal was the fact that there was like such vague information. That's why the whole COPPA situation was taken with such seriousness, because no one knew what the hell was going on. It was just a game of telephone due to the massively vague information given by YouTube. And whose fault was that? Susan Wojcicki.
Pretty much, yeah.
And if you really want to try to tell me that, oh, it's Susan Wojcicki's boss that's doing this.
Susan Wojcicki is the boss!
Yes.
So,
remember, in a company there's always somebody that's above you. But even if she does have a boss, I mean, think about it this way. That boss is probably the same boss that was there when the previous YouTube CEO was there. So, difference? Like, coincidence? I think not. Like, honestly, man. Come on. Come on now. That's not the only thing either. We had ElsaGate and other things like that. We had all these, like, mass flagging campaigns and the favoritism and everything like that, and nothing is done about it because Susan Wojcicki's there, and she allows this stuff to keep going on.
Yeah,
like,
the whole Chilean YouTuber doing what he did. Apparently Susan's fine with that, even though it was very controversial.
Yeah. Like, people have been getting away with such crazy stuff on YouTube. Like, especially people like Mini Lad and other people like that, the people that have been found of, like, pedophilia and stuff. There's so many pedophiles on YouTube, it's almost laughable. And none of them have been deplatformed. Now, I'm not always the person I'm not always some kind of, like, dude that's always always up for, like, cancel culture or deplatformation and stuff like that.
I'm against cancel culture, but I'm not gonna get into that here. That's for a different discussion.
But for a pedophile, get them out of here. Just get them out of here. We don't need that on our platform.
They should not be on the platform. And I've actually seen them before.
Yeah. But on top of that, like, we also have things like, oh, you can't swear in videos now, otherwise your video won't be properly monetized.
Oh my god, I hate how many times I hear a YouTuber go, oh, I can't say this word because YouTube might be watching. It just gets so annoying because it tells me that people are clearly doing YouTube just for the money. Instead of how it used to be in like 2008 when people made YouTube videos for fun. And, like, that's kind of what I do. I try to have fun with my videos. Of course, I make money off of my videos, and I do partially do YouTube for money, but honestly, I could be making $0 and 0 cents, and I'd still be making videos.
What I like about you, though, is that you actually have the balls to admit something like that. People usually just say, oh, I'm not doing it for the money, even though they clearly are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, man. But what about the next thing, though? Like, apart from all this other stuff, like, Susan just needs to be replaced with somebody that's better. Hell, even just hire me to be the CEO of YouTube. Or somebody. Like, hire a trusted YouTuber to be the CEO of YouTube. Like, hire...
I'm pretty sure Markiplier could I'm sure
hire Markiplier, hire Jacksepticeye, hire somebody with a big fan base that's well respected.
Maybe PewDiePie? Like, do one of those three. They seem to understand, like, YouTube a lot better than Susan does.
Yeah, honestly, those three could just be partners that run YouTube altogether.
But to be fair, though, you don't need that high of an IQ to know more about YouTube than Susan.
Yeah, but either way, though, that's actually really sad, too, because, like, imagine somebody knowing more about your own platform that you are the CEO of. Like, that's really sad.
That is sad, but... I don't know. Not much we can do until someone replaces her.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, just gonna throw this out here. Susan, if you are watching this, please don't strike my channel down or demonetize this video. Even though the video probably won't be monetized anyways. But anyways.
Bro, what about you?
Alright, so, when I was actually looking up when she was founded, CEO, I actually got my comment ready because, the next YouTuber I'm going to be talking about is, oh god, I might get, I should have thrown this out there at the beginning of this. You guys are probably going to absolutely hate me for some of these opinions, even though I am kind of known for having some slightly controversial opinions. Yeah, trigger warning, just throwing that out there. Arlo. Now, if you don't know who Arlo is basically this guy who makes videos on Nintendo, specifically like Switch and like Nintendo news and stuff like that. You know him better as like the blue furry puppet. Honestly, I was getting sick of his videos after a while because he was basically making, all of his videos had to constantly be about the Switch, and like, I understand why, because it gets views, but it's like, seriously though, it feels like he stopped liking to do YouTube because he actually wanted to make videos. It kind of feels like now he just makes videos just because he's obligated to. Like, when you look at his channel, it's just the same whole, oh, Nintendo Switch this, Nintendo Switch that, Nintendo good, Nintendo bad. It's just the same stuff over and over. And it's just so repetitive. And then he eventually started this news segment called Nintendo News Roundup, which is just baffling because it's like, why do you have two segments that are practically the same thing? That's like if I started a new DDLC mod segment that was the exact same thing as my normal mods, just a different name. Like, would that not be weird? I think it would be weird, honestly. But that's not the point. Arlo made a, so eventually, like, now if you know who, like, a lot about Arlo, you know that he is known for his opinions on the Paper Mario games. That's pretty much how his channel took off because of how poorly Color Splash was received when it was first revealed. And Origami King was released last year, and I think Origami King is an amazing game. I think it is a game that is way better than a lot of people will say. It isn't perfect. I think the game does have genuine flaws, but I think the game's very good. Arlo made an hour-and-a-half video that is just so stupid, and I've got the comment all ready to go because I'm going to read the comment to you guys that I put. You can find it on that video. Just going to say it right now. It's a very long one, so let's get going. I'll be honest, I had some issues with this review. This didn't really feel like a review, as it felt more like a rant than anything. The positives were only mentioned for about 1/6 of the video, with the rest being nitpicky. So I don't understand how this could be a review, since it goes away from simply reviewing the game to nitpicking the game's smaller details. B. This video felt way too long, and the problem here is that there wasn't that many issues that were brought up. From my perspective, I could tell that you, 1, didn't like how generic of designs they are when you shouldn't be judging books by their cover. Bobby, for example, he's actually a really good character! And 2, the ring system is what ruins the game. This video could have been 40 minutes, and it wouldn't have changed that much, but instead it felt like I was hearing the same thing over and over. And you can have your opinion, but don't shove it down mine and others' throats. C. Though this may be me, I feel many negatives were extremely over-exaggerated. While the ring system isn't necessarily the best idea for Paper Mario, based on this review, it sounds like it takes the whole game down completely. And I feel that some of the reasons why small things make the game so much less enjoyable also felt a bit like grasping at straws, such as how the characters look generic when, again, mentioned before, don't judge them by their covers all the time, as well as given, and another thing was that he complained about the game basically having an exploit. So essentially you could like exploit battles since there was a timer for completing the puzzle, but you could essentially pause the puzzle, so you wouldn't have to do anything really, which never does the game force you to actually use this exploit at all. Many games nowadays have difficulty settings so that way you don't have to try. But is that because the developers think their game is so poorly designed that they have to include it? Or providing it for more people to go through the adventure? Is Persona 5 Royal a bad game? Is it a poorly designed game because there's a mode in the game that allows you to regenerate completely when you die at no extra cost? No! And while the game isn't perfect and does have some moments of bad game design, that doesn't make the whole game poorly designed. Also, no game is perfect, unless you're talking about Persona 5 Royal, which is perfect. Bias here, but anyways. D, it is really hard to distinguish what is opinion and fact. And I'd say this is probably the biggest issue with this video. You can have your own opinion, everyone can, and it's fine to communicate it, but here it feels like the opinions are stated like facts. This can be a dangerous move, as people who haven't bought the game may get deterred from playing it. Yes, I know you mentioned this at the beginning, but how many people are going to only listen to a 2-minute review when it's like an hour and a half? Clearly you have a lot more to say about it than 2 minutes. I will say, I am glad you were completely honest instead of keeping most of this bottled up, but I don't feel that this review was very good. While there were things in this review that I do agree with, I felt the execution of this video was poor. However, that is what I think. Thank you for reading. So that should probably give you an idea of what I thought of that video. That was such a dumb video, like, seriously. And it's even worse because I actually met Arlo in real life, so he's actually the only YouTuber I've ever met in real life, which, that hurts. But that's what I think, and to be fair, maybe I'm wrong, but to be honest, I don't know. Probably not, honestly. But I've talked long enough. You talk about the next one. You talk about it, honestly.
So, this is something rather interesting. All these, like, weird kids channels, you know, like, during the whole Elsa Gate thing, I just kind of want to talk about that for a bit, because, like, just, when I first saw those, like, I saw, like, my cousins watching those before, and I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Why are they watching it? That's even more creepy.
Yeah, like, I was expecting them, like, after, I'm not even gonna lie, like, I was half expecting them after they were done watching it to come up to me with, like, bloody fingers and say how fun it is. And honestly, these videos are really, really weird and really stupid, honestly. And also, they're filled with quite a bit of graphic imagery, which, for a kid's channel, doesn't really help yourself very much, does it now? Like, come on. It's supposed to be a kids channel, not a freaking horror movie.
Is that all you had to say on that?
No, because these channels were heavily monetized.
Oh yeah, YouTube did nothing about it for a while, I think.
Yeah, and Elsa Gate is part of the reason, I believe, for the demonetization of Super Mario Logan, which is rather interesting. Because of the fact that Super Mario Logan does, like, you know, like the plushies and everything, and that could be perceived as, like, kids content.
Even though it explores adult situations sometimes.
Yeah, but of course YouTube's not going to mention that because that would actually make sense and that would be detrimental to their case. So they're not going to mention that.
Yeah.
But honestly, can we just talk about the fact that YouTube just doesn't know what they're doing whenever it comes to issuing things like this, like issuing demonstrations?
Yeah, they'll monetize Troom Troom, which, if you don't know what Troom Troom is, it's another one of these crappy kids channels. It's this stupid DIY channel, clearly for children, but apparently it's monetized and they can have comments on their videos. I don't know why that is. Well, actually, I do know why that is. One of their videos, they show you how to make a fake firearm to sneak into someone's bag. Which, for the love of God, don't do that. Love of God, like, no.
Like, they show it in the video as being like a harmless, almost looking prank, but trust me, in real life, if you make a fake firearm and take it to where that guy went in the video, which was to an airport, your friend is gonna go straight into the back of a police car and be escorted out of there in a police car.
That's what will happen.
Yeah, he'll be taken to jail because possession of a firearm in an airport is a very serious crime.
We haven't been there in like forever.
Even if it's fake, it's still lifetime in prison, possibly. Probably not, but I don't.
Yeah, because not everyone's gonna know it's fake. It still causes panic, and so it's still the crime is the panic, pretty much, with that fake gun situation.
Yeah. So there's
the same reason why it's kind of it's the same reason it's almost it's pretty much the same reason it's a crime to yell fire in a movie theater. But like those kids channels though, they don't know what the hell they're talking about with like the Troon and everything. But as for like the Elsagate thing, straight up, what the fuck is that?
It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know how they ever got past monetization.
YouTube again. It's YouTube, so I don't know why you're surprised.
I'm not even really surprised. I'm more just like sad about it, honestly. Yeah. Sad to see such an amazing platform get a shit like this.
Yeah. Is that all you had to say for that?
Pretty much.
Alright, so moving on to another thing that I did not talk about in my original video. And that is this other YouTuber, Connor the Waffle. Now, I don't know if you guys know him, but he basically makes really low quality... Okay, I'm already starting to get some of that. He makes videos on Nintendo games sometimes. He makes videos on like bootleg games and stuff like that, and it doesn't sound that bad, right? Well, what if I told you that he makes the same exact video every single time? Like seriously, if you've watched one of his videos, you've watched all other 500 of them. So that's my first problem with him, is that he's incredibly lazy. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He is one of the laziest YouTubers I've ever seen. And this is coming from somebody who is pretty damn lazy. But he does not care about his content. He puts the most minimum effort to even somewhat engage the viewers. Just so sad to see, because like in his older videos, like I will admit his older videos were fairly cheesy. But at least you could tell that he actually cared about YouTube. He actually liked making videos. Now, he only really does them for, I guess, the money, but he doesn't really get that many views on his videos anymore. Like, sometimes it's hard for him to break like 300,000 views on some videos. So, I don't know if it's necessarily money or if it's just some other situation, but his videos are just so low quality. Like, he barely puts a lot of effort into them. And here's a good example. You can tell when he's gonna make a joke. And that brings me to the next thing. His joke telling is awful. So, and I got a good example for this. In his Luigi's Mansion 3 video, in Luigi's Mansion 3, you use this device called the Virtual Boo, which is of course a spoof of, like, I guess you could say, of the Virtual Boy, which was a not very good system. And he basically says how the Virtual Boo, and how it's like the most handheld thing ever. Yeah, my anus is portable, you can barely comfortably play that thing anywhere. Which is a reference to the AVGN episode on the Virtual Boy. Now that doesn't seem that bad, right?
Right.
But then, like, not even like 20 seconds later, then he plays the AVGN clip where he says, "This has got to be one of the worst inventions in history," or something along those lines. He basically made the reference again, basically, as if you didn't catch it the first time, which tells me that he was forcing that reference out hard.
Yeah, that's...
So there's my case on that. He's not funny. Okay, so there's that. What else? Well, and this isn't just Connor the Waffle, but his profile pic, like the avatar he uses for his video thumbnails, is booty compared to what it was before. And like, this isn't just... What the hell? Okay, this better get... Okay. That better get in the video. But... Yeah, if you look, there was a glitch. But I hate it when I see YouTubers that have perfectly fine thumbnails, only to like just become absolute booty like later when their character designs, when it's clear that they changed their character like still. And more than likely, Kyle Waffle actually drew it himself, because it looks like booty. No offense. Actually, take it as offense if you want. I don't really care. He probably isn't even going to watch it anyways. But, yeah, that's kind of the Waffle. Really not a good YouTuber anymore. It baffles me that people still have a lot of respect for his videos, because his videos are awful. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. He doesn't put effort into his videos, which is sad to see. And speaking of talking about effort, which I'm going to kind of segue into a bigger discussion, animated story time channels.
I already know who you're about to reference.
Share my story?
No, I thought, okay. I thought
I'm gonna mention them. I'm just gonna mention it real quickly. Those are also those channels where they're just like, oh, I got pregnant when I was 14. Those channels are fake as hell. They're not real. I heard some of those stories were literally taken off of Reddit. So that says something. Those channels are awful, but I'm gonna really focus on the main animated storytime channel, starting with The Odd Ones Out. Now, I don't know how you guys feel. I don't like The Odd Ones Out, because something about him is always giving me this egotistical feeling. Kind of like he's on a higher plane of existence than the rest of us. Like, he has a board game, and, well, maybe not a board game, but I know he has, like, at least a card game. Because I actually saw it in a store a few times. And, but, like, he's still gonna try, like, he goes to VidCon and all that stuff, but it's like he's still gonna try and come off as this relatable person who talks about things that we can relate to. I don't like that. So he feels sort of condescending in a way. I don't know if you notice this, Nerfmaster, but I just kind of notice it, like, I don't know, something weird. Like, he talked about, like, all this stuff about, oh, going to VidCon and all that stuff, but then he's gonna talk about how he worked at a fast food restaurant, and apparently that gets, like, 1 million views. And I feel like that kind of lowers everyone's standards in a way. Like, someone who actually makes really good stories only maybe gets like a few 100,000 views, but a dumb story of you working at a freaking fast food chain, oh, that gets like 1 million views, even though it's not really that good of a video in the first place.
I imagine he made 3 parts of that too.
No, he made like 4!
Oh, that's right, there was some Subway too.
Or wait, hold on. Subway, because they're clearly different places, even though they're not. But, and that brings me into another thing. Odd Ones Out is a goddamn hypocrite. So, he made a video talking about how about scams basically, and one of the things he talked about was mobile games, and how mobile games are very scummy because of like the ads and all that stuff, and how everyone should basically play Tetris 99, which I don't disagree with him on that at all. I'll be honest, I don't play Tetris 99, but I do play a lot of Puyo Puyo Tetris and Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Those games are amazing. Buy them, buy them, buy them, buy them, buy them! But then Odd Ones Out makes a goddamn mobile game. He decides, I'm gonna make a mobile game. So, even though, like, he said that mobile games are actually pretty scummy, he makes one himself. Or he probably didn't make it himself, he probably had someone else make it, but it has his face on it. Yeah. So yeah, hypocrisy. But that's all I really have to say on Odd Ones Out. Do you have anything else to say?
No, other than the animation is of course low quality.
Animation's somewhat, it's fine, but I will admit the character designs are very boring. Especially his design, it's just a white guy. Like, what's interesting about a white guy? I'm a white guy.
I feel like it looks like that one, like, chef mascot that's on some of the things you can find in the grocery store.
Yeah. But, there's Odd Ones Out. The next one is Wolfie Chew. Now, Wolfie Chew, I'll be honest, I don't know if you could have heard that through the mic, but, anyways, to be honest, I don't mind her older videos, honestly, because I feel like at the very least she somewhat cared. However, I will say it right now, her videos are not animation. Like, moving characters, like PNGs across the screen, that's not animation. Like, it's just not. It's just a movement of, like, images. So, there's that. Also, her art style got worse over time. Like, seriously, you can tell now with her art style that she doesn't put nearly as much time into it, and it looks more generic. Also, and this is just one occasion, to be honest, this might have been just a screw-up, possibly. What the hell was that? Remember that one video she made where she was talking about, like, I think it was, like, embarrassing times in school, and it had a thumbnail of her, like, completely, like, her chest exposed, of course, like, censored. Do you remember that thumbnail?
Yeah.
What the hell kind of audience was she going for with that? Like, she has this style where that makes you think that she's more for, like, younger kids, but then she shows her exposed chest with, while it was censored, still exposed. So, I don't know what that was all about.
And also, she had also, not to mention the fact that she had a video about, some embarrassing school moments where the thumbnail was literally just a panty shot.
Oh god. Okay, that too. So, yeah.
Can't forget that one.
But ultimately, honestly, I'd say Wolfie Shoe is the least worst out of the three, but I still don't like her new videos. Also,
at least she was good at all, though.
Yeah. Actually, something, just a small thing I want to mention, and this is a very small thing. It irks me a little bit. It's not a big deal at all, but why does she feel the need to constantly talk about him? Like, I don't know. Something about that just, I don't know. As someone who hasn't received love from, like, someone that isn't my family member, that kind of irks me a little bit, but it's not a big deal at all.
I mean, dude, you've received love from Monica, have you not? Freaking DLC Monica, when you played the game, and she loved you?
Did you... I made? I put her at the bottom! If you watched
she still loves you!
Even if she killed others that were actually better for her own wants. Which I can kind of understand, but at the same time...
The point is she loved you.
Yeah, also... out of existence. I mean, to be fair, they aren't real, but at the same time, they kind of are somewhat real. They act realistic, but even so. I don't know. If you're into serial killers, that's fine, but I personally am not. I'm just into the tsunderes. Just to clarify, I don't agree with how I executed the video I made. I thought the execution was very poor. However, I don't disagree with the message I was saying. I do legitimately think that her art is very inconsistent and honestly not that good, honestly. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call her art complete crap. I wouldn't call her art very good. You son of a goat. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
It's just very low quality.
Okay. Alright, I think I should be good. I got the message again, but it's still going. Oh god. I'm scared because this is another re-recording, so... Okay. Let's... anyways. I don't fully agree with the video, but it's like... I do agree with the message. I don't personally think our art's that good. Now, to be fair, art is subjective, but there's a line to that, to be honest. If honestly, I could have emulated her art style and possibly done better when I was 8 years old. And that's not good. When I can emulate your art style better when I'm 8 years old, that's not good. Especially when you're a grown adult.
Yeah.
And like, you can say what you want about how, oh, YouTube does, like, the algorithm doesn't really favor, like, animators and stuff like that. At that point, like, but does that mean that you just slack more on your job just because it's hard? Like, do people that go mining, are they just like, oh god, this job's so hard. I'm gonna just slack a little bit. No, you still do your job. Unless you're just doing it for the money. Which is probably why she's doing it. I wouldn't be surprised. It actually would explain why the arts isn't the best. Like, seriously, if you can't even color in everything, then why are you just coloring in the hair? It's just so inconsistent. And honestly, I feel like it lowers everyone's standards when people accept that as art. Like, because to be honest, it's not good art. It just isn't. I'm sorry to say, it isn't good art. If she could have at least colored everything else in, then it'd be fine. I wouldn't have that much of a problem with it. Like, at least Wolfie Chew, even if her art style has gone down, at least her art style doesn't look bad. At least I like the art style. At least it's not inconsistent. But that's what I feel. But anyways,
let's be honest here. The only reason people like to celebrate Jaden Animation's art as art is because she's a cute Asian.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I actually forgot to mention, I will admit her animation is good. Like, the animation is good.
There's a good flow to it.
But that doesn't mean much when the art isn't there. Or at least isn't that great. Because, like, you need good art to make good animation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but honestly, I don't even watch anime storytime channels anymore. They're for kids. So, you could say what you want about how I'm not in their demographic and they're not for me, but they can be for me. I think they'd be interesting, but I don't know. They do it for the money anyways, so I don't know, which is sad. But anyways, moving back to you, Northmaster.
Yeah. So there are channels on YouTube that will actually pretend to save animals. So this is actually going to be another trigger warning. So there was a video that was shown a long time ago where these two boys find a dog and they rescue it pretty much, and then they take it to the vet and it's treated. But there was so much inconsistency, and eventually it was actually found out that this video was fake. So there are people out there that actually abuse animals and then pretend to save them. Like, there's straight up videos of dogs that are being attacked by a king cobra, and then they pretend to rescue the dog. They put these animals in horrific situations, and with many of these animals actually dying from their injuries. Like, there was actually one YouTuber that I know of where the cat that he was going to rescue had been struck by a vehicle at well over 50 miles per hour and killed the cat.
I thought cats have 9 lives. I guess not.
And people say that, yeah, and people say curiosity killed the cat. Unbelievable.
Gee, I mean, it is true, but at the same time, like, maybe it wasn't just that.
Probably a number of different things. But honestly, though, no matter what killed the cat in that metaphor, the result of these channels are still the same. They're still their scummy selves, putting animals in horrific and dangerous situations in order to make some quick revenue. All this can be actually really easily found out by the types of videos that they uploaded and the consistency of the types of videos that they upload. What I mean by that, pretty simple. This is one of these channels was a dog rescue channel. And this is one that made the King Cobra thing. So, what happened? Up until that point, there have been exactly 0 snake attacks with any dogs. And the video that they made of the snake attack got a lot of attention. After that video got so much attention, they started doing these snake rescues more and more and more. The consistency does not add up at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, these channels need to be shut down. But of course, guess what YouTube doesn't fucking do? They don't do anything.
That's YouTube. If you haven't learned that by now.
Literally, Like, whatever, like, there are some other things I can excuse on the platform, like the Elsagate thing, because that's just straight up weird and everything, and all these other, like, things like that, but whenever you have straight up monetized animal abuse, that's when it's like, okay, fuck off. It's time to fix this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know whose idea it was to make this platform to be like, oh yeah, man, you can totally monetize animal abuse. Like, what the fuck? Whoever is comfortably sleeping at night and has done that, the things that do to them, you don't even want to know on this stream. Like, honestly, or this podcast, really, because they'd be way too graphic to even describe on this platform. You want to figure out what I would do to that kind of person? Go to the dark web. Honestly, man.
Don't go to the dark web.
Okay, you're not wrong there.
Just throwing that out there.
Unless you have a death wish. But yeah. Anyways, continue with the original topic of these fake channels. There's way more than just one of these channels out there. There's an entire ring of channels that are faking animal rescues, and YouTube never does anything about them.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next.
All right. So I think. Was there anything I didn't mention from before, like from the first recording? Can you remember?
I don't know. I don't think there is.
Okay, so I've got one more person that I want to talk about. N&8 Productions.
Oh!
I thought my videos will ended on him. He is one of the worst YouTubers ever, besides these animal abusers. Like, the worst actual YouTuber is probably N&8 Productions. He is so awful. Like, first of all, his videos. So he makes a bunch of 3 a.m. videos like, oh, don't call Sonic.exe at 3 a.m. or don't call the Krusty Krab at 3 a.m. Don't call SpongeBob at 3 a.m. All these weird 3 a.m. videos, which for some reason are monetized, even though they're clearly for kids. I don't know what adults watch those kinds of videos. I don't know. Maybe just mental people. I don't know. No offense. But seriously, and I'm not even joking when I say this. N&8 is literally what happens when a child escapes from a mental hospital. Seriously, this guy just acts so weird. First of all, he's really annoying. Have you seen any of his videos, by the way?
I've seen them before. They're very annoying.
He's so loud and annoying. It's like, it just makes me wonder if he has like ADHD or something. I don't know. Like, seriously, like everything he does just physically hurts. He's just like, it's just like, jeez, why do you have to be so over the top? It's just cringy. Not only that, a while ago, I don't know if he still does this, I saw a video, and this is actually on one of Diesel Patch's videos, where he does cringy Fortnite dances. Just gag me now, please. Just awful, and the videos are so fake in the first place anyways. His videos are just awful. Again, I did mention Diesel Patches. Watch the video he made on N&8. His video will do a lot. His video does justice. I'm only mentioning the basics. But yeah, his channel is freaking awful. But yeah, it's just, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Though it could more than likely be actual mental reasons. Not even to be offensive, I do legitimately think he probably has a mental condition of some kind. Like, he can't, there's no way that he's cool, like, he's not pretending that the Infinity Gauntlet is real. He probably thinks Thanos actually is the person who answered his phone. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. But
I don't either.
I don't know. But anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say. Is there anything else you have to say?
No.
Alright, well, thankfully, I think the podcast came out right, so, I think this is a good place to end the podcast. With one more thing. YouTube is a good place, though, to be fully blunt. Like, I will admit, as much as YouTube is annoying, it gave me a place to kind of get a small job going. Because of you guys, I'm able to have, like, not really a career, but I'm able to have a job, so, thank you guys so much. I know I don't say it a lot, but you guys really do mean a lot to me.
Glad to know that I mean a lot to you. As for me, I mostly just do this as a hobby.
Yeah, I mean, this is mostly a hobby in the first place anyways. Like, I do this.
That's what YouTube is meant to be, honestly.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do what you want, honestly, on YouTube. As long as it doesn't hurt anyone or anything, do what you want. But anyways,
don't be ridiculous on this platform, please.
Don't be like NA. But anyways, Nerfmaster, where can the fine, beautiful guys and girls find your channel at?
In the description, you can find me there. NCS will probably link it in there. You can also just find me by searching up Nerfmaster 111 Lamborghini.
Okay, maybe I won't put it in the description just because you're assuming that I'm going to do that.
Okay, then.
Jump into
in that case, you can find me on NCS7's feature channels.
I'm kidding. I'm going to put it in there. Don't worry. Yeah, I will edit the description later so you can just get the timestamp to the actual discussion. And also, you already know where to find me because what the hell? What else are you watching this video on? But anyways, with that being said, this is NCS7 signing out. Peace.
Peace, everybody.